you read the complete Quran, you'll find that they are both verses, because you see, on the one hand, the Almighty is letting us know, He's giving us these glad tidings that if you behave well, He is going to select you for paradise, and the paradise is going to be a place where you will have every desire fulfilled. And although it's not explicitly mentioned in the Quran that maybe what God will do with people of paradise, but considering as little as we know about God, I do think that He might have some other mission maybe for people of paradise to fulfill. He's just choosing them and selecting them. So I think that the mention of paradise is equally there in the Quran. If we just focus on one part of the Quran, which is dealing with hell, of course, then that would be highlighted. But other than that, look what the Quran actually says. The Almighty says, "Kataba ala nafsihi rahma," that I have made mercy mandatory upon myself, and my purpose is to gather you all on the day of judgment so that I can admit you to paradise. It is just a byproduct of not entering into paradise that some people have to go into hell. The people are primarily not being created for hell. They are primarily being created to be engulfed in the mercy of God, to going to paradise. But if people out of their own choice are not righteous, or they falter, they are afflicted with various blemishes, then it is something that they do something for their own selves. And don't you think this is very similar to what we do in our own world? I mean, as teachers, we give punishments to children as well, and we reward them as well at the same time, and they go hand in hand. And on the one hand, we encourage people, and on the other hand, we encourage even the mischievous and the naughty boys as well in the class. And it is only in extreme circumstances that we do take some punitive measures. So always remember, God also says that as far as hell is concerned, people who are going to stay in hellfire are the ones who insist on their arrogance, are people who are going to be deliberately arrogant, people who are not to give up this arrogance, who think themselves as people who are superior. So I think it's the extreme case which we often neglect, which are regarding people who are going to end up staying in hell forever. Otherwise, lesser sins would be ones which would be punished, and maybe people would be taken out of hell and then admitted into paradise once they do their term. It's like passing through a jail sentence, and once that sentence is finished, you are on bail. You come out of that punishment. So it's not always hell that's being talked about. If you study the Quran, you'll see that eternal hell, as it talks about in some places, which says "Khalidina fiha abada," which means that they'll stay in hell forever and forever. It's not meant for common perpetrators. It is meant for, as I said, for people who are intentional deniers of the truth, intentional, or people, for example, who have done other evil things, and these are extreme evil things. So lesser than that, there are individuals, as I said, who might endure their punishment once that is done. They would come back. They would come out and maybe later sent to paradise. So it's just a matter of reading the whole Quran in tandem and in the complete context, and especially in context of this verse which says that the Almighty has made mercy mandatory upon Himself, and gathering people on the day of judgment is primarily an act of mercy, so that people are rewarded and compensated for the patience and perseverance they showed in the previous world. But what if people never showed that perseverance? What if people were reckless? What if people were careless? It's not God's doing. It is like a naughty boy who's not mending himself, or a naughty girl who's not mending her ways, in spite of being given repeated warnings that you'll fail the class or you'll be demoted. And this is something that we do in this worldly life as well. So I think that's something that we do. We have to expect that God is going to do that even